All right, is it time for the cybersecurity stocks to get their mojo back? For ages, the cybersecurity cohort was the hottest group out there. Then a couple of months ago, these names sold off hard, and they've been trading sideways ever since. Take Cyberark Software, CYBR, an Israeli cybersecurity stock that not long ago was the hottest name in a red-hot space. Cyberark has built a terrific business for itself by helping companies protect what are known as privileged accounts or administrator accounts, which have become juicy targets for hackers because these accounts control the proverbial keys to the information technology kingdom. Historically, once a hacker gets his hands on a privileged account, he owns your entire IT system. But CyberArk software is designed to proactively protect against and respond to attacks using these accounts. Now, the stock's been on an incredible run since it came public last September at $16 a share, nearly doubled on its first day of trading. You remember, we told you to hold on to this one. At 59, it's still down more than $16 from its June highs. Despite the fact that Cyberark reported a very strong quarter last week, the company beat Wall Street's earnings estimates by 13 cents off a 6-cent basis and higher than anticipated sales, upside guidance for the full year. Of course, even after its recent pullback, okay, I know it's expensive, 77 times earnings, but it's got tremendous growth. Honestly, nosebleed valuations have never been much of a barrier to these cybersecurity plays in the past. Plus, you can make a case that at $1.9 billion market cap, it is got too big an opportunity for that. So let's check in with Udi Mokady. He's the founder and CEO of CyberArk Software to hear more about where his company's headed. Mr. Mokady, welcome back to Mad Buddy. Have a seat.
Thank you very much.
Udi, since the time I was interviewed last, I think there's something really interesting, and you talk about it twice in your conference call, which is that there was this kind of by road. You had to have cybersecurity protection because you basically thought that the auditors needed it. You pleased the auditors. Then something happened to make it so that it was no longer the auditors that you're worried about. It's that they got the goods. That was the term you used. They got the goods.
Exactly. It's the Sony breach, the Anthem breach was a wake-up call for many verticals that it's not, the auditor is not the enemy. They're trying to help you be compliant, but it's all about what are the attackers going after, and they're trying to own the business like they did in those cases.
And what's interesting is that you talk about partnering. You're not saying you're up against FireEye. You're not talking about being up against Palo Alto. It looks like that CyberArk kind of owns this space. You have a lot of diagrams that show that no one else is in the privileged account space.
Yeah, CyberArk comes in peace in that sense. We complement the security investments like Palo Alto and FireEye and create a whole new layer on the inside. And so while we have some mild competition, we were really focused on this for many years and have a strong advantage.
I want to talk about this healthcare vertical because it scares people to have their information be brought out. How did they get in? How did they get in?
So getting in is very easy. You just send phishing attacks and somebody is going to click on it. The problem is what happens afterwards. And the organizations were only protecting the outside. And once you're in, attackers were free to roam around, steal credentials, escalate privileges, and get to the goods.
But you've got some sort of password protection that actually works?
So our platform, Privileged Account Security Platform, finds those credentials, locks them up, and allows only trusted users to use them. And then we alert on anomalous behavior. And we do that on thousands of privileged accounts.
And that's real time that you do that?
It's real time. It's real time, and it's measurable security, which is very rare. And our customers talk about how many accounts they put under control. There's a before and after CyberArk. They've hardened themselves.
Okay, because the reason I mention all this is because, you know, you're not going to get any credit for nobody hacking, but you are going to get blasted if someone does hack. I mean, that's a kind of an odd asymmetrical loss for you, isn't it?
So we help our customers be more secure. They actually run tests, and they can see that it's much harder for the attacker. Even if they're breached, it's going to be much harder for the attacker to move around and get to the goods. So we focus a lot on making sure they implement correctly, that they discover all of the privileged accounts, and not just go after what the auditor pointed them to.
Okay. Now, there was a kind of a startling thing. We've been focused on what the IRS is up to, and not necessarily whether you're your customer or not. But we see that thieves stole tax information from thousands of taxpayers, much bigger than we thought. We had the CEO of H&R Block on. It's pretty clear that they get your tax ID and they apply for your return, and the IRS doesn't know any better. What do you recommend in situations like that?
So it used to be that only credit cards were the target of the attack, and now it's healthcare records and these kind of things. When you steal personally identifiable information like those records, you can just be that person. Even when you steal a healthcare record, you can then go use that Social Security number and apply for tax returns. Again, to the customers, we advise to be very worried and not protect the outside. To the end consumer, they have to be very watch out all the time to see their credit scores and all of that.
How did my wife get a $103 charge from a Luxembourg account? just a kind of small little thing that she caught. Now, I know, look, I'm not saying $100 isn't a lot of money for a lot of people, but I'm just saying, how did they get that? And is that privileged account, or is that just some sort of, they got in somehow?
So they got the credit card somehow. Or they could have been listening to the point of sale device, like in the Target breach. The Target breach had to do with privileged accounts. Right. The HVAC manufacturer, supplier, they got in, they were able to get to this credit card.
And utilities too. Now, utilities become a big vertical for you.
Yes, in Q2, we talked about more than doubling.
But what are they doing that they need?
Because it's critical infrastructure. If you bring that down, you're causing major damage. Not all hackers are for profit. Some hackers are for damage. And so this is a vertical that's awoken, just like the healthcare vertical and others have.
Every time I talk to you, I get scared. But maybe that's what's supposed to happen.
But we're on the good side.
All right, fair enough. That's Udi Mokady. He's the president and CEO of Cyberark Software. Guys, these do not really have any competitors. And this is the kind of software and this kind of cybersecurity that we're going to have to deal with for a long, long time. Mad Money is back after the break. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.